Hi, this is Vicky from Grandma B's Junk Journal. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Today I'm going to do a quick little flip through of an antique junk journal. It is a custom order, and so I wanted to give her a sneak peek and hopefully inspire some of you to look on your shelves, see if you have any books, and get going on creating your own junk journal. This is a 1909 book. The cover was in kind of rough shape, but it was all intact, and so I have covered the spine with some fabric, lots of different laces and pearls and bows. Much of this is vintage. I have some lace tabs up top. I have two little charms that are clipped on the outside here. They're just clipped with a clip, so she can definitely remove those. That's what the back looks like. A lot of the pages of the book was damaged by water. Now the cover is nice and sturdy, and it's ready to go, but there are only a few original pages of the book in there. There's this beautiful Victorian woman on the front cover, and I do have one colored image in the journal that was from the original book. The inside cover is covered with the same fabric as the spine, and I have bordered it with two different kinds of vintage lace. There are two of these beautiful images. These images are from the late 1800s, and they were, I don't know what to call them, portraits, but maybe painting, or I'm not really for sure what they are, but they did have a date of the late 1800s, and I got them from an auction, and I've trimmed them down to fit on the two pages that I've included. They are absolutely gorgeous. I think they were like originally framed on somebody's wall. But then they were packaged very nicely in a box with tissue paper, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. So I thought it would fit very well into this book. So the person who asked me to make this, she didn't want pockets or like tags. She just wanted a lot of blank pages for journaling. So I have done that for her. But I've also added some vintage papers, like from magazines and books, just to still make it a junk journal, but have lots of room for journaling or photos. This is the front page from the original book, and the date is, it's 1908. Sorry about that. I think I said 1909, but it is 08. This is a ink dyed paper that I created myself. I think like the front signature might have more of the vintage papers, but this is early 1900s, Sears and Roebuck. So I have a few from that magazine. I have some scrapbook paper. This is a music sheet, and I think at the other end we will see the date. I think it was early 1900s, if I remember. This paper here is from Woman's Day 1947, a crochet magazine. This is a really cool, it is a calendar page, and I absolutely loved it and thought it would go great in this little junk journal. There's some nice thick cardstock. Here's another magazine page, another blank page. This is from an older Sears and Roebuck catalog. And a half sheet. Several different kinds of vintage stationery sheets. And this is also a vintage tissue stationery. This is absolutely gorgeous. This was in the same auction box as this. It was a large sheet packaged with tissue paper, mean, very nicely packaged. I could not find a date on it, but I'm thinking it was also the late 1800s. Just gorgeous. And there is one more, I believe a larger sheet of these birds and flowers that I had cut down to make it work in here. But the images are beautiful. And then here's another vintage stationery sheet here as well. This is the middle of the first signature. There is 2 signatures, and I did sew those in, hand sew those in. And these are some more of this Sears catalog. This is another vintage magazine sheet. I just love those. The beautiful birds and flowers I thought just went really well with the book. The coloration goes with the fabric. Here is the other end of that calendar. And the other end of that crochet book. And I'm looking for the date on this music sheet. 1877 for that music sheet page. I have a few music hymnals that are the late 1800s, and I absolutely love them, and I love to use them in my journals. Look at those images. Are those just the cutest? Okay, so we have, again, lots more blank spaces for her. Here is that other picture that I talked about that was from the front image. Absolutely gorgeous, and it just has a feel of maybe like a linen or something, but it's just beautiful. So I thought that went really well. Some more beautiful flower paper. This is just a card. This would be great, you know, if you want to put a photo here or journal here. Another magazine page. I made, this stationery envelope goes with the vintage stationery that we have seen. I just glued this tip, so there's a little belly band here. And then I added 2 scraps from the papers that's in here. So you can make bookmarks or tags or journaling spots, you know, whatever you would like. I just thought that would make a really cute belly band. And look at this, another catalog page. I absolutely love these. And another vintage stationery page. There's the larger sheet that I talked about. It's absolutely gorgeous. The colors is just beautiful. And then this big spot for journaling. Then we have this vintage catalog page. This is also from a vintage book. And I thought the woman just went well with the book, you know, the journal. And then there's a nice big spot on the back for journaling. This is, I had made this tag and I just scanned it. Is this one I scanned? Yes, I scanned and then I put it on this page. The colors and the birds and butterflies I just thought went really well in the book here. And then that is on the back of an envelope. So in the envelope, I have put some different pieces of ephemera that you can move around. You could make pockets. You could just embellish the pages, as well as I've clipped a couple pieces of ephemera right there that you could do the same. Look at that. It's so beautiful. I love that paper. And then this is the page that I spoke about, and it's original from this book. So one of these women, probably this one, is this one right here. So I went ahead and trimmed that down and then just added it to a page in the book. Now, if you didn't like these magazine pages, you could definitely glue on, you know, a journaling spot or a photo. You know, there's lots of different things always in junk journals. If there's, you know, images or photos, if you don't like, just cover them up. That's the beautiful thing of junk journals. And then I've just clipped some more ephemera. I've put some more in this little envelope. I love to put photos here, but it's also a great spot for journaling. And then just the end of the book, here is a key that I've just clipped on. You could definitely remove that. You could clip it to your tabs, your lace on the top, take it out, whatever you want to do. That's what you could do with that. Also, I am going to add a couple of little extras that you could add to your journal, or you could maybe give them as a Christmas gift or add them to one of your other journals. This person who asked me to make this is a returning customer, so I've made other journals for her. This is a little cluster. I absolutely love to make these, and they're so cute, just glued on a page just to kind of embellish it. So that's packaged up. This is a tri-fold tag, so you open it up and you have lots of space for journaling or for photos. There's some pockets in the front, and I've put a tea bag and a honey stick and journaling card, so while she is working in her journal, she can be sipping on some cozy tea. And then I have included a couple pages from the book, and this page actually is handwritten from the previous owner, which I thought was very cool. And then just a few pages from the back of the book. And then I got out some of my vintage things in my binders, and this is kind of, it's like the vellum. I don't know the year, but if you open it up, you have all of that space for journaling if you would like, plus this and this. I just thought that was a cool little piece to include. This is also a vintage card, and then a vintage postcard for some journaling. You could pop that in there as well. So just some extra little goodies that I will include. I thank you very much for coming along on this flip through. I hope I have inspired some of you to get into your stash and get creating, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.